Well, following our bliss, our purpose, our passion, that is what helps us to feel good. Sense of freedom and joy comes from that place when we relax into life, the life that we have, and begin to follow the energy of the wisdom within us, that still small voice that's suggesting that we do be or have something. So life has a plan. Life has a plan for us, for our highest good and for the highest good of everyone. And it's a universal plan that is bigger than ego gratification. And it has our highest interest at heart. And all we can ever do is let love lead the way, and we begin to move in that energy. So when we started out as little kids, we tended to get messages like, no, don't do this. No, don't do that. No, don't do the others. No, 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 no. In fact, some studies would show that child will often hear 400 no's in a day. Ouch. How is that a great way to begin life where everything is a no, 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 no? And so we're trying to crack that. We're trying to open up to something else. And what we want to open up to is yes. We want to open up to yes. One of the things that Louise Hay talks about is that when we start off with a no, always hearing no, it's not much of a start. And when our first word is no, which often it can be for little kids, it's the one we hear most from them because they hear it most. When we shift that to a yes, we begin to change sort of the overall cellular structure. In fact, Bruce Lipton said the health of a cell depends on the environment it exists in. And a loving, positive environment creates health, but a fearful, negative environment causes unrest. So when we're thinking about following our joy, what we're doing is we're finding our voice, finding that voice within ourselves that is the authentic self, okay? That divine essence, our higher power, whatever name you want to give to it, as we begin to listen to that still small voice and act upon what we're hearing. Number one, the voice gets louder. You begin to hear it easier. And it also allows us to create something beautiful. Saying yes. In a poem, Say Yes Quickly, Rumi wrote, inside you, there's an artist that you don't know about. Is what I say true? Say yes quickly if you know, and if you've known it from the beginning of the universe. Saying yes is sometimes a bit of a stretch for us because we want to have all the facts and figures. We want to know the hows and the whens, the whys of it. But what if we listen intently to that part of us that does know and answer quickly with the yes when we know it's a yes? When I came to Toronto, it was a yes. It was an epiphany moment that went, it's time to go. Now, I only had 40 bucks in my pocket. I had a one-way plane ticket to Hamilton. I knew one person who lived in Oakville. And I did have somebody's couch to sleep on here in Toronto. So that was my journey here. Now, did that journey logically make a lot of sense? Not really. Not really. But it did make sense to me. It made sense to me because the call was so loud. And so, although it wouldn't necessarily make sense to most of us to take that kind of a risk, for me, it didn't feel like a risk. It felt like following that internal voice that said, now's the time. So when we take a look at life, there's the sacred yes, and then there's the shoulda, woulda, couldas. When we're asked to do something, or we're thinking about doing something, and in our mind we're going, well, I should do this or I should do that. If there's a should there, let's reflect on it a little bit closer, because oftentimes shoulds are actually no's. We tend to do things because of the way we've been raised, the conditioning we've had, whether from parents or school teachers or siblings or other extended family, neighbors, whatever, media. We get the message of what's good and what's bad, what's right and what's wrong. And we begin to buy into that and we believe it. And because we're living from the outside in, we're looking at the world around us as truth. And we're forgetting that really there's a deeper truth that resides inside of us. And if we allow it out, we begin to create something that's really beautiful. We need to say yes. We need to say yes to that which is a yes. Now, sometimes something will come up, and right away, there's a part of us that yearns for it, but then there's another part of us that's going, but I'm not sure. Like, how am I going to do it? And one of the things we want to remember is how is not our job. If we knew how to do it, we probably would have already done it. Okay. How is not what we follow. We follow that internal guidance system. There's something inside of us. There is an aspect of us that knows who we are, where we're going, and what is meant for us cannot go past us. Might take us a while to accept it, but it won't go past us. When we start saying yes to our purpose, to our passion, not whether or not we're going to become famous or not how much money we're going to make doing it, but just from that place of service. I have to do this. When we live from that place, that's saying yes and following our joy. You see, when you're following your joy, you will not work a day in your life. That joy just fuels and moves and shifts. And sometimes it takes a while before it gets you where you think you want to go. But the reality is the whole time you're doing it, you feel a sense of possibility. It's that sacred yes. It's the big plan for your life. And it really is about your purpose and your passion. It's about service. Saying yes is an act of faith. And sometimes we don't even know why we say yes, but it feels like we should. So I want you to think about any area of your life that may have been troubled or challenged over the last little while, and what is the conversation that goes on in your head when you look at maybe changing it or doing something different. What is that voice in there saying, or what is moving you? Because sometimes we're doing things because somebody told us it was a good idea. We take a look at school. When you get into grade 10, 11, 12, they're helping you to pick careers. Although I got my career at 42, so obviously I missed the school memo. Oh yeah, right. I quit early. I forgot. The thing is that we go to school and the teachers, some good guidance counselor is going to sit back and say, here's how you're going to get into the best university. And here's the programs that are doing most of the hiring right now. So this is the place where you're likely to get a job and earn an income, blah, 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 blah. There's nothing about that says, let me follow my bliss, let me find my joy, let me celebrate and just let my true essence out in the world. None of that. I mean, how many people do we each know that have got out of school, got a university degree, went to work in that field, worked there for 25 years, retired, and then went, oh, thank God that's over. Or all the time, oh, I can't wait till it's Friday, TGI Friday, right? TGIF. Oh, what's Wednesday? Hump day, hump day. Yes, let's get over that hump and into, okay, sliding into the weekend. Why are we living like that? We're living from paycheck to paycheck, or we're living from our, I've got to do this so I can get there. I don't know how many people I've known who've retired and within a year have died. Now what? Now what? It's like I worked all these years to get to this point. Now what? What if life is a journey without a destination? What if the whole point is the journey? What if it's about us showing up day by day as who we really are? And that doesn't mean we don't work a job where we earn, good money. It just means that we also do things that bring us great joy. If working 9 to 5 and staying in a career for 25, 30 years serves us in a way that really serves us. I have a girlfriend who worked for years and years in her career but always was part of a dance group. She would go dancing all the time, loved to dance. And so in retirement, that just got more. She got to dance more than she could before. But sometimes people are working for, for retirement. They're working for that final day. And the final day comes, and then what? There has to be something more. So when we're looking at how we spend our time and the way we spend our time, we want to find balance. Yes, we have to, we've got to look after our material needs. We need to pay the mortgage, and we need to pay for our cars and food and all that good stuff. We do require an income. But I'll tell you, if you're following your bliss, if you're following your bliss and living from your passion, living from that highest part of you, that authentic, natural, sacred part of you, what happens is everything you do will feel easy. Louise Hay talks about, the career that she had. She started off studying science mind classes. We offer those here. So she was taking classes, and she decided as a practitioner student, she'd write a list of diseases and possible ways of affirming something different and changing them. So she created a little list. And her little list, somebody said, put it in a little book. You can heal your life. And then she expanded that little book. That little book is still selling today. She created that. She created the Hayride, helping men with AIDS and HIV to heal their lives. She moved on from there to build Hay House books, like the I Can Do It conferences. Like, I'll tell you, Louise Hay's a brand. How did it happen? So she talks about she'd get an idea and put one foot in front of the other. She just said yes. Somebody said, well, what if some men come over to the house and you sit and talk to them about who they really are and healing that wound? And she's like, yeah, okay. Putting one foot in front of the other. When it was time for me to come to Toronto, I had known for a long time that I would come here eventually. I was born and raised in Calgary. And I woke up one day and went to a conference. And at that conference, all of a sudden, it was like, now's the time to move to Toronto and start a CSL there. The moment was so loud and so clear, it couldn't be ignored. So that journey that we're on is about learning how to listen. Now, this is where our daily practice comes in handy. When we take time in meditation, we take time doing spiritual mind treatment or prayer. When we take time for that, what we're allowing ourselves to do is align with the spiritual principles of this universal one. It's taking ourselves out of the effect, which is what's been manifest, right? Everything we can say, touch, feel is an effect subject to change. But that divine within us is changeless. That divine essence is life. And so when we begin to listen to that and then put one foot in front of the other, here's an idea, let's do this. Here's an idea, let's do that. What happens is things start to flow. And sometimes it can feel a little bit miraculous. Like, how did that happen? How did that happen? How did that happen that I came to Toronto with $40 and managed to not live on the street, managed to have food in my belly most of the time, and created something here that has served me for 23 years. The journey that we're on is not about figuring out every detail. It's not about how it's going to happen or when it's going to happen. It's more about, do I have a passion for it happening? Do I believe that it's possible? Am I ready to step into this bigger idea? Am I saying yes to the journey rather than a goal? The key is to do what is before us, to do the thing that's in front of us. And that's one of the things that Louise Hay talks about, is she did what was in front of her. Nothing more, nothing less. When I was studying ministry, I knew right from the beginning I would come to Toronto and start something here. But when I graduated in 98, it was like not happening, right? The doors weren't flying open. And I spent the summer going, oh, okay, I don't know what I'm going to do, but I'll keep selling real estate for now. And then in October, a friend of mine called me and left a voicemail on my machine in the days of machines, and left a voicemail saying, why didn't you apply for Vernon, BC? And I couldn't remember why. That center had been available for a long time. So I went, oh, whatever. I phoned head office, I phoned the center. They had me, they said, yeah, absolutely, you can apply. And I got to, they did 3 weeks of, having ministers, different ministers come out and meet with the board and do a talk and a workshop and meet with the congregation. I went the first week, somebody else the next, somebody that one after that, and then the last week they voted. What's interesting is that when I went there, I knew when I left that it was mine. It wasn't a question, it was facts. When I got back to Calgary, I gave notice where I was living, that I would be moving on December the 15th. And I gave notice to my real estate team that I was working with that I would resign as of December 11th. I was clear. I was leaving, and everybody kept going, well, no, you shouldn't actually give notice on these things until you know for sure. Now, I will admit, on the Sunday when they were voting, and I was sitting in Calgary and they were in BC doing their vote, and I'm sitting there waiting. I think I was talking to my friend, Reverend Sharon Mitchell, at the time, on the phone going, whatever. When the phone call came in, it was a confirmation of what I had already known. I did have a little trepidation at the end there, I got to admit. I moved that Tuesday, the 15th, and started my ministry December 16th, 1998, my 42nd birthday. The idea of honoring the call. Now, I served there for a year and a half, and then that's when I got the call to come to Toronto. Again, it was a loud message. I was journaling, and all of a sudden across the paper, it's time to go to Toronto. And that was a big decision again, because I had to leave a congregation to do that. Sometimes we have to move. Sometimes we have to do something different. Sometimes we have to allow ourselves to just step into the middle of the stream and let it carry us. We may not know exactly how it's all going to come about. And I would invite you to not tell everybody all of your plans. Because I think if I had told my family that I was flying to Toronto with a one-way plane ticket and $40, they probably would have locked me in the basement and said, I think you need to stay home. We're on a journey, and the journey is one that we don't know what tomorrow brings. In fact, we don't know what an hour from now brings. Things happen, things change. What we have to do is stay true to our passion, our purpose. And sometimes when I'm talking to people, they go, well, I don't know what my purpose is. And I'm here to tell you that you actually do. But sometimes we confuse purpose with work. And so what we want to do is find that energy within us. What lights us up? What excites us? What is the thing that moves you like nothing else? Where is it that you really want to spend your time, your energy? What is it that brings you joy? When you are doing what you love, you just don't get tired. You just don't get burnt out. There's something that happens that fuels the whole forward motion of it. And doors open in ways that are so surprising. But they do. They open. And are we willing to step through them, or do we hold back because we don't have the full plan laid out in front of us? Because sometimes we want that full plan, don't we? We want the safety, the security of knowing that I'm making the right decision. When you're following your yes, when you feel that sacred yes, you are making the right decision. And the truth is, you can't really make a wrong one, because even if you do, then something redirects you, right? Like life is forever realigning itself. It's a little bit like flying from, say, Toronto to Paris. The flight is going to be, off course all the time. And the pilot or autopilot or whatever is going to be bringing it back on course constantly, constantly correcting, because it knows its destination. When we know our destination, we don't have to worry about the how, when, why. All we need to do is know the destination. And by knowing that, each step will bring us closer. Me going from Calgary, going west to Vernon, BC, to come east to Toronto seems like not the easiest route, but in fact, it was perfect. Had I come to Toronto first, I wouldn't have had a clue what ministry actually meant. Like most businesses, what you learn in school is not necessarily what you're going to use practically in application when you get there. I found that out in real estate. I found that out in ministry. Each one of us is created perfect, whole, and complete. Each one of us is an aspect of this divine one, that we live in this divine mystery, and we have to find a way to come to peace with that, to feel secure and safe in that, and that's our faith. Having faith doesn't mean I know exactly what's coming. Having faith means I trust that internal yes. And I honor the internal no. Because sometimes no comes, somebody wants you to do something, a job opportunity comes or something comes and you're looking at it going, I should want this. But, and of course, the clue is the should. That's generally a no. So I want to invite you that as you're finding your way in your life experience, as you're moving to that place of really feeling good in life, of really accepting who you are as you are, that part of the process, stand in front of the mirror and just tell yourself, life loves me. Life loves me. How great is that? Tell yourself this, I am wise. I am wise. That there's something in me that knows. There's a part of me that knows who I am and what it is I'm meant to do, because all of us are here to do something. We're here by divine appointment, not by accident. So what is mine to do? And as we begin to listen more intently, we begin to see the path opening before us in a way that's quite easy and comfortable. Stuff falls into place that we never would have imagined. And it doesn't happen by force, manipulation, pushing or pulling. It happens with such ease. It's like a hot knife through butter. It's one of these natural flows that occur. And we go, wow, how did that happen? Life is what we make it. So it could be easy, it could be hard. It's up to us. We can choose to change our thinking to be more in alignment with possibility, opportunity, passion, and purpose. We can live from a place of community and collaboration and cooperation, or we can struggle with life and fight for each little morsel that comes our way. But it's just a choice. And our words are creating the world that we live in. The way that we think about ourselves is creating the world that we live in. And so if life is really, really hard and difficult, if we check in with our thinking and begin to change that, what happens on the outside begins to change. And as a final story, when I was working at the Calgary Herald in my 20s in the advertising department, I was there for 10 years. And coming up to the last couple of years, I had a job review that was very negative. My boss basically said, get your attitude in shape or get out. I'm going to fire you. So firing me wasn't an option from my side of the fence. And I thought, what do I do? And so I started doing personal development work, going to seminars, whatever, just to change the way I talked to people, the way I thought about things, to begin to start that correction of my language and my anger and whatever else was going on, to begin to check my thinking first. And one of the gentlemen who was running a workshop, he had these little stickers, CYT, and he'd give you handfuls of them. Stick it on your phone, stick it on your car dash, stick it on your desk, stick it wherever. CYT, every time you look at it, what it means is check your thoughts. And so that was my beginning point. And then, of course, shortly thereafter, I had a spiritual epiphany that brought me into the work that I do now. The journey that we're on and the way that we get to where we're going is by being where we are, noticing every moment that who I am is sufficient to the task at hand. The next step that I take is moving me somewhere, and I don't need to know the outcome. I just have to be willing to be present with what is. Moment by moment, day by day, here we are. I know, life, good, eh? So, time to say yes to meditation. So let us begin. I want to invite you to just get comfortable in your chair and close your eyes if you feel comfortable with that. Just relax your body. And I want you to just take in a deep breath. And as you exhale, just feel yourself relaxing a little bit further. Another deep breath. And as you exhale, just relax. Feel your body letting go, shoulders dropping. And one more deep breath. Full relaxation. And I invite you to notice your body, become very aware of your body, allowing your breath to take its natural rhythm. And as it relaxes into that rhythm, I want you to just begin at the top of your head and just scan your body from head to toe very slowly. Just feel yourself just observing your forehead, your eyes, your nose, your mouth, your jaw. Just allow that scan to move down through your body. And if you notice a tickle, a cramp, observe it and then just keep going with the scan. Just don't react to the moment that you feel. And when you get to the bottom of your feet, just reverse it and start scanning your body upwards. And again, if you notice any discomfort, just observe it and move past it. No judgment, no desire to change it, just simply an observation. And again, when you get to the top of your head, just go back down through your body and continue this process. Now to the feet, up to the top of your head, and back down. Observing, never reacting. This exercise teaches us impermanence. You may have noticed that a pain in your knee when you came back up all of a sudden was a little itch in the shoulder. And then you go down and tickle on your toe. Everything changing. The impermanence of the physical world allows us to be free as we acknowledge what really matters. So as you take a deep breath in, we're going to move into some music. One more deep